Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome, Amar, and President Sir, and all my colleagues, and all future leaders here over here. So I think you all know me from yesterday. I'm Monomita. I'm professor in accounting and finance, and also I'm looking after this Brunel Business School and the Ahlia leadership, okay? So personally, I'm an interdisciplinary researcher. So I started my journey in India, and I completed my first PhD from University of Calcutta. And then I moved to do a postdoc in University of Rome Tor Vergata in Italy. But unfortunately, unfortunately or fortunately, I did a second PhD there because my supervisor said that you will get an opportunity to do another PhD. I can extend your funding for 3 years, and do you want to do another PhD? So I cried whole night and another PhD, but then I realized that this is a really good opportunity for me because I was able to learn from world leaders, like world famous academicians, because my supervisor was from Columbia University, and he was bringing in lots of professors from different Houghton and other places. So that was a great opportunity. Then during that time, I also visited Lally Business School in New York. So I was there as a visiting scholar. So I would definitely encourage all of you, if you get an opportunity to visit another university or institute, please do so. So that helped me to understand a different culture. Like US culture and Italian research culture was very different. And we were working day and night in US. And that was a lovely journey. I started publishing my research from there. Then I landed in Holland. I was at Radboud University. And then I thought it's enough moving around the world with one suitcase. So I have to apply for a job. And my first job was at Surrey University in UK. And then by that time, I completed my second PhD also. And I started publishing my papers. So publishing paper is not an easy task for sure. And we all struggle. So from there, I joined Brunel in 2015 as a senior lecturer and got promoted as a full professor in 2023. So that's all about me. And so as we say that why we are here, we want more publication, right? So before I start my presentation, I would like to request all of you to check your mobile and find out one news if you didn't find a chance to go through the news in the morning. And just let me know that if you think any of the topic could be a possible research project, and if you want to publish that research project. So I will give you 2 minutes time. So if you just quickly go through your any news channel. I have no preference or reference. So you can go ahead with any news channel and pick up any topic. So what I will do during my talk, I will pick up randomly couple of topics, and I will try to explain that how to convert that topic in a research project, and then what needs to be done to publish it, okay? So shall I start from this corner? Anyone from this side? Any topic that you liked? Trump, okay. That's a good topic. Second topic? Anything? Cybersecurity, okay. Yes, sir. Negotiation, okay, great. Any other topic? Yes, please. Data protection, okay. Investing in hotels, okay. Yeah, that's good. Yes, sir. Extreme weather changes, really good. Any other topic? Yes, please.
Change happening in the public policy in our world.
Public policy, yeah, great. So, wide range of topics. So as you can understand that I have not seen the news because I was finalizing my research grant application in the morning. And so data protection, extreme weather, policy, then specific industry, hotel industry, and then cybersecurity. If you think carefully, all the items are linked with each other. If I focus on hotel industry, so what I have to do, I have to think how to make this hotel industry more sustainable. Okay, I have to take care of the extreme weather change. I was going through a news yesterday in BBC that in some place in South Africa, it's a very touristic place, but they are running out of water because of extreme weather change. It's a dangerous situation. So the elderly people are going to that area to have a peaceful life, but now they are running out of water. And the main reason for that, there were no proper maintenance of the leakages in the pipes. So the water was getting lost. So if you think carefully here, we can apply the technology to identify where those leaks are. And we can fix this problem quite early on in their whole life cycle, and we can take care of the water crisis, right? And to do that, when we are relying more on technology, then we have to also think about how to secure our data, how we can take protection of data protection and all those things. So, and then we come to the policy changes. So if we have to do all those things, we need the policymakers to be on board. Without them, we cannot make those changes, because if I go and say that you have to do it, they will say, okay, the government is not asking me to do. And there are very few people in this world who would say that I have to play my role. Like every time government will not say everything to me, because I might be quite sensible, I might be quite aware of what could be the consequence of all those things. So this type of topic, so if I just focus my research on hotel industry and how to make it more sustainable, I can link all your topics together, okay? And during my presentation, I will quickly go through a couple of things. So definitely publishing is essential in our life, and it's definitely going to help us to grow. Like we are going to contribute towards the society, as Dean Sir was mentioning, and then alongside that, when we publish more, we can get promoted, we can contribute a lot towards the society and make changes which are sustainable, right? Then the process is competitive for sure. Like if you are thinking about a topic, many other people around the world are thinking about the similar topic or sometimes same topic. So you have to identify a topic that is important, that is close to your heart, but you have to also think that you have to identify the proper gap in the practice and in literature, so that in your PhD journey you can, when you pass out, then the topic is still important after 3 years. And understanding the editorial expectation could increase the success rate. So if you could understand that how we, the editorial board, are reading your paper. By the way, I'm not the editor, but I'm associate editor with very high impact Q1 journals like British Accounting Review, International Journal of Finance and Economics, and also business strategies and the environment. And the last one is International Journal of Financial Studies. So I'm associated with these 4 journals now. And believe me that you have heard lots of bad things about editors as trying to stop you, but we really want you to succeed. Okay, so we are here to help you to get your publication. So what is the process looks like? So when you submit your paper, then it is assessed by the editorial processing team, and then your submission goes to the editors, okay? Now the editors will read the paper very quickly or screen the paper, and then they will coordinate with the associate editor. Like the editors can see the list of associate editors on their system, and these days, most of the journals have more than one editors because of so many submissions. So you would not imagine that every day there are, in some journals, there are 500 submissions every day. So it's a huge task, and that's a challenge for you. Don't think that I can write a very quick paper using AI and then I will get a publication, because it's a cumbersome process. And then they coordinate with the associate editor. The associate editor at this stage will go through your paper and they will try to understand that whether that paper should go ahead for review or not. So in some journals, at this point, associate editor can directly write to the authors. And in other journals, they prefer to go back to the editor and say that, see, this got this type of problems. Then the editor will again go through it and write to the authors. If it is going forward, then it goes to the reviewers here. And after the review process is done, then the editor, associate editor, will give their comment to the editor, and the editor will take the final decision. And by doing this, following this process, what they are trying to do, they are also trying to shape journal direction, because every journal got a specific direction, aims and objectives. And throughout this process, what we are trying to do, we are trying to mentor the authors through giving different feedbacks throughout the process. Now, how to understand the journal scope is really important before you think about writing a paper. And I'm happy to share those slides. If you don't need to take pictures, we can rather discuss more. So in the journal scope, that very often when I talk to PhD scholars, they say, oh, I think this paper will go very well with one of your journals. Okay, no, you don't need to publish in the journal where I'm associated with. You have to find out which is the good fit for your paper. So fit is everything. If it is not fitted in that journal, you will never get a publication. And that will kind of create lots of stress that I'm getting rejections after rejections. The main reason is you are not trying to find out the right journal. Now, very often at this stage, people go to their mentor or senior colleagues and say, can you read this paper and suggest me any journal? Okay, please don't write to me. I usually get lots of this type of request, but I can look into the papers, but sometimes it's better to talk to people who are specialized in that area. They can tell you exactly where to go. And your supervisors are the best person at this point. They can guide you to which journal to target. Then if your supervisor is not responding, don't expect all the time that they will respond to you immediately. Everyone got different work style. And so at that time, you can take the lead, and what you can do, you go through the recent issues of that particular journal. Say, figure out 3-4 journals and go through the recent issues and see what type of papers they are publishing. Very often I have seen in some good Q1 journals, they are asking to mention the name or title of the paper from their journal that you are following in your research, to understand that you understand the scope better than them. Okay, so it's really important to read the current issue and understand the journal mission. Read again and again mission and vision and aims and objectives of the journal. If you are struggling, use the AI tool here. Ask AI to summarize. Ask AI to critically read between the lines of these aims and objectives. Sometimes it's hard, like aims and objectives are very vague in some journal, I would say. So you have to understand what is written in between lines. And then from there, align your paper with ongoing conversation. So why I asked you about the recent news? It's really important. Your Dean sir was mentioning about South Korea. Yesterday there was a devastating news from South Korea. Because the birth rate is going down, they are bringing in female for male in the rural areas from Vietnam, from Sri Lanka, which is against human law, okay, which is against their own global policy around equality, respect towards women. So it's a very sensitive topic, right? But it's important to align your research with the current conversation, because if you cannot attract the attention of the editor that your topic is really important to address some challenges, current challenges, or important to address some future challenges, your paper will not move forward, okay? So I think it's really important at this stage to align your work. Now, what makes a very strong manuscript? You should have a very clear contribution. What is the outcome you're expecting? If you know, I want to achieve this, if you are very clear that I want to be the CEO of this company. So this is your target. Now you build yourself how to be that CEO. But without knowing what you want, that's a big problem in your PhD journey, especially in first year. Okay, you keep on struggling to understand what I want. Don't listen to other people like who are saying, oh, this is not a good topic. Every topic is a good topic to me. But you have to understand how to make the contribution very, very strong. And contribution-wise, it could be policy contribution, it could be academic contribution, it could be practitioner's contribution, anything. So you doesn't need to only think about, okay, how I will contribute in academia, what would be the theoretical contribution. Yes, it's important, but it could have a huge impact on society. Say, for example, in around COVID time, there was a consultation going on by Indian government about sustainability reporting framework. So I have seen that. And then I tried to find out that what's the problem in this sustainability reporting, because anyway, I was working on sustainability. But my research was more focused towards climate change and digitalization, not about overall sustainability. And I was doing work at that time on modern slavery. So I was quite interested to understand how to link these 17 sustainable goals in one reporting model. Now, why reporting is important? Because if a business cannot explain properly to their stakeholders or investors, you will not put your money in that business, right? And so I found that the Indian reporting structure is very qualitative. They are asking the companies, write in words what you have done, what needs to be done, and all those things. But if I check, when I check the GRI and other framework, I have seen there are numbers. So I proposed a model with 3 other colleagues that we want to change this reporting structure. It was not easy. It's a government process, you can understand. So after several meetings and meetings with big giants from India, they agreed that, okay, you develop a model. So what we did, we developed a 4-stage model. And after 2 years, it was patented by Indian government. And from 2022, it became mandatory for top 1,000 companies. And India became the first country in the world to have a complete sustainability reporting framework mandate, which is not there until now for other countries. So this is how you can create impact. And you would not imagine that how many businesses are benefited out of it, including the small businesses. So contribution is so, so important over here. And you should have a strong theoretical background and robust methodology. When you are talking about your methodology, don't just focus yourself on data. Yes, you need data to prove what you are saying or to find out the answers to your research question. But your methodology should be robust. You have to say why you are taking this sample, why you are using this database, why this time period. And you have to cite relevant papers to show that other people use this, or I'm using something very new, and you should have a strong argument that why this methodology is the best for your paper. Don't feel shy. Never be shy when you are doing research. Be very bold in saying even the wrong things. If you start with the wrong things, people will help you to you will get feedback that this is not right, this is wrong. Then you change your methodology maybe. But don't jump from one topic to another. This is a very big challenge. People say, oh, I'm not getting data, or I don't think my topic is not good. And don't ask your supervisor, is this a good topic? What do you think? Every topic is a good topic. So you have to stick to your topic. If you think you want to do this, do it. And then you should have a coherent narratives throughout the paper and practical or policy relevance. Don't stop your paper saying that this paper will have this theoretical contribution and this academic contribution. You have to show why a practitioner. At the end of the day, everyone wants to make money, right? So we have to think, and especially if you are in business field, even engineers, that if you are developing a product or manufacturing something, you need the buyer to buy your product, right, or your service. So you should have practical or policy relevance. Because coming back to your point that policy relevance is so important. If the policymakers from India were not ready to accept my model, many businesses will not follow that process, right? So we have, and they speak different language. So it's really important to speak their language. Make your story very easy for understanding by non-academic people. Always ask your children, ask your partner that, what do you think about this topic? And get their opinion. They are giving you non-academic, judgmental opinion sometimes, so which is really important. Then the most common reason for DEX rejection, don't be upset, DEX rejection could happen, but it's mainly because of poor fit and weak contribution. And here I have seen in most of the journals what is happening these days. People are using the AI tool unnecessarily. Our human brain is really, really strong. So think about that. You are able to see the problem, why you are giving the comment to the AI tool to write the contribution for you. And like, it's a mess kind of thing now. So I would strongly recommend don't follow the AI tool to write your contribution. You write by yourself, do the grammar check with the help of the AI tool. And the methodological flaws is another big issue, and lack of clarity. When you are using AI tool, it's very difficult to bring in that clarity. So write by yourself and then use the AI tool. And poor writing or structure is another important thing that I can give you a good example. One of my PhDs was doing on robotics and employment. And he was writing pages after pages. After 5 pages, he's writing what is the research question. The research question should come in the beginning. It might not be a good process for you, but usually if you see my papers, I always start with the opening line, in this research we are examining this topic. So that when the editor doesn't have time to go through all the 500 papers, so he is doing a quick check, so he can understand, okay, this is interesting, I can read further. So you have to catch their eye in the beginning. Some people, this is quite US style of writing, and UK style, but US style is more giving the background and then proposing the research question. That could also be done, but make sure that your research question is in the first page. It shouldn't go beyond first page, because then you are lost, okay? And the other challenge here, I have seen that people are not putting lots of paragraphs, and this is another challenge using AI tool. If you ask AI to write something, they will give you short paragraphs, right? Then definitely people will understand, okay, this is written by AI. So this person is not using their brain. So be careful when, and don't think that we won't understand. We understand which one is written by them. And sometimes we also use the AI tool, but you have to do it properly. And start with a problem. As I said, that in this paper, we are examining this problem. Show the clear gap in the research. Like in hotel industry, why I said that in hotel industry, I need to talk about the climate change, because they have to be more sustainable, and all the hotels are now becoming green. But by becoming green, if you put the solar panels on top of your hotel, then after 3 years, when you have to throw away the panel, did you make a proper plan how you will make those things recyclable? No. So it means that you are doing a kind of greenwashing over here. So make sure that you are explaining your gap properly, and explain why it matters, why you think this is a gap. And you have to say why other people have not done this research, and how unique is your topic. Use this word in your writing, that novelty of my research, originality of my research, and uniqueness of my research. These type of words attract attention of the editors, and that could avoid your paper to be rejected. And state your contribution and good fit. These are the kind of key elements for your paper. Now, the methodology is the heart of the credibility, for sure, and it should be transparent. I have seen several papers, like when you are writing your thesis, if you are writing a big fat thesis, then you can write about the philosophy of methodology and all those things. But in a paper, you don't need to write the philosophy. You have to justify why this methodology, and which papers you are following, and how good fit of this methodology is with your research project. And justify it, and replicability. This is another important thing. You have to, most of you from Ahlia students, I have seen that you do primary data. When you are doing primary data, you are getting ethical permission from Brunel. Now, after doing that, you have to submit your data in good journals in their repository, so that anyone can replicate and anyone can check your data and get the same findings. So don't try to manipulate your data. Be honest with your data. Don't feel bad, oh, I'm not getting significance level. Okay, be very bold and say that why you didn't get the significance level. And then deposit your data. And alignment with research question. Whenever you are writing, this is the finding, this is the methodology, you should go back again and again and link that with the theoretical framework and your research question. If you are not showing to the reader that how your research findings or your data is helping you to find out the answer to your research question, your paper will not progress. And even in your viva, you will have problem. So tell a story. In which type of novel you would prefer to read until end, when there is a proper coordination between the characters, or it's written with a good flow. So follow that. Use clear language, avoid any kind of jargon. That's another challenge when you are using the AI tools. You are using lots of similar word again and again. That gives a clear indication it's written by AI tool. And there is a kind of pattern, like they always say, however, suddenly, this type of words. So avoid using jargons also, and build a logical flow in your study. Very quickly, The initial screening, as I said before, reviewer selection, reviewer rounds, then editorial decision, and it goes through the revision cycles. Now, when you are responding to your reviewer, be respectful. I have seen several responses where the authors are not respectful. And there is a high chance that your paper would be rejected even if you are doing a thorough revision. Be systematic. One way of responding to reviewers' comment is draw a table. So this is your comment in first column. This is how we responded to your comment. And in the third column, you just copy paste whatever you wrote in your manuscript, in the revised manuscript. So this is the standard, and most of the journals expect that type of format. And by chance, if your paper goes to someone who is habituated in reading that type of response and you are writing in paragraphs after paragraphs, your paper could be rejected because they are not getting that message properly. And provide evidence. You have to convince the reviewer that you respect their comments, and it's not enough just to write thank you very much for your comment or your feedback. You have to show it to them, and you have to bring in evidence from that journal and beyond that journal to ask them and to show them that you know about what they are saying, and address every point. Even if you are disagreeing with them, write it politely, that I think this is not relevant for my study. So be very polite when you are not agreeing with them. Avoid plagiarism and ensure that there is a data integrity for sure, and declare conflicts. If you have any conflicts of interest, declare that. And in the revision cycles, be patient, and it could take time, but do a thorough revision and follow the authorship norms. This is another thing I have seen students coming from non-Western countries. They prefer, oh, my supervisor would be the first author. Never. You will see lots of paper written by me with my PhD students, even if they are not from Brunel, they are outside. PhD students need paper. So you should be the first author. And if your supervisor or anyone is saying, oh no, you know what, you are not experienced, you shouldn't have your name in the beginning, say no to them. Because you have every right as a PhD scholar to decide whom to work with. You always doesn't need to publish with your supervisor. No one can tell you to publish with your supervisor. I got my PhD students who published outside. That's fine. If they are doing their studies properly, let them do. So don't change the authorship. And very often it happens that once the paper get accepted, someone is telling you, I need to put my name before you, say no to them. Okay, and if there is a problem, write to the journal. And what the editors look for in a revision: a clear improvement, strong argument, a better structure for sure, and evidence for engagement, and a very professional tone. So if you are using Turnitin to check that whether AI has done everything properly or not, that's not enough. Sometimes use the professional human being to do the proofreading. Target the right journal and have a proper collaborate strategy. So if your study is focused on more on industry or policy relevant, so bring in those people on board. Bring in people from industry wherever you are working. If they are sharing the data, why don't you talk to them and see that if they can be the co-author, read your paper from a professional eye, and they can give you some comments. Attend conference like this places where you would get lots of feedback, work on it, and engage with the literature, and seek mentorship. Ask beyond your supervisor, ask your senior colleagues, ask your friends, ask your peers, and write to, like these days we are all linked through LinkedIn, right? So ask some people that, can you read my paper and give me some feedback? Now, there is a chance that you might be very scared that my idea would be stolen by some people. So if that you are quite scared about that, and then approach the right person, I would say. So you have to make a judgment here whom to send the paper. And if you don't want to send the full paper, you send them the abstract or extended abstract, okay? That could also help. Or ask some questions about few sections. Be persistent, be curious, that like the way you check the news, and if you're struggling to find out, get an idea when you're talking with your supervisor. And when you're talking with your supervisor, be very specific that I read those papers, I got this idea, I want to do this. Don't go there and ask that, what do you think, what I can do? So take the ownership of your research and be open to feedback, write regularly. And as we celebrate always getting a paper accepted, if your paper is getting rejected, but you are planning to submit somewhere else, go out for a coffee with your friends and like try again. And celebrate these small wins also. That's really important. I always go for chocolate, which I shouldn't, but I always think that is kind of relaxing me. Okay, this is rejected, but I'm trying. So thank you very much for your attention.